Well, it looks like we have some new news coming into the SEC versus Ripple case. We have a ruling from Judge Netburn on her thoughts on the use of MOUs by the SEC. And what is that actually going to mean for this case? Was this just an attempt by the SEC to dig up some dirt on Ripple for this case? Or is it going to be used for something else? And so we're going to talk about what the judge said about the use of the MOUs and if this could be a win for the SEC or if this could be a win for Ripple. And if you're paying attention to any of the crypto news lately, you'll see that on Wednesday that Bitcoin and a lot of the altcoins got absolutely whacked. They were down almost 50%, which has been one of the largest crashes in a long time. Now, we've seen several 30, even 35% crashes on Bitcoin in recent months, but not as much as 50 in a 24-hour period. So what actually caused this? Well, we're going to talk about a couple of things and why this might make sense that it's the end of the actual Bitcoin bull run, or this could just be the beginning of a major upside. And despite the SEC going after Ripple right now, Ripple's continuing to add clients, and they just added another client that just made headlines today, and we're going to be talking about that. Hey everyone, my name is Randy, and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And in this channel, I'm covering the SEC versus Ripple case, along with other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, personal finance, and stimulus check updates. So if any of those topics interest you, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget, tap that bell notification icon. That way YouTube will actually notify you when I release a new video, and I do that when I see some new developments, and in this space there is a ton of new developments. And if you're feeling really generous, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, helps out a newer channel like this, and basically just tells YouTube to show this video to new audiences. So if you do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. And as you can tell, I am still in vacation mode this week, and I wish I had a little more time to be covering these news stories because these are getting more and more interesting by the day. With that said, let's jump right into it. So Egypt's largest bank, the National Bank of Egypt, is the newest client of the RippleNet ecosystem. Ripple just signed them on, and the National Bank of Egypt has big plans for what they're doing with this new alliance. They're going to be using RippleNet as a remittance service with the United Arab Emirates because it's one of the largest countries where they need remittance services for all their expats. And they literally do tens of billions of dollars worth of transactions, and they needed some infrastructure that was faster, cheaper, and much easier to use. RippleNet was the perfect choice for them. So Ripple is continuing to add on clients like this on huge scales. So regardless of what's going on with the SEC, Ripple's going about its business. And as of right now, there's no word on if the National Bank of Egypt will actually be using XRP as the underlying currency to make the transaction, or if they're actually going to be holding their Nostros accounts, which is a more expensive way of doing a transaction over RippleNet. But nonetheless, they still have the option. And before I get into the SEC case versus Ripple, I really just wanted to get into what happened on Wednesday, which was a big market correction in the Bitcoin/crypto space. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this, and so I've been doing a ton of research and just reading article after article and video after video to figure out exactly what happened. And it's really interesting when you compare the crypto space to the traditional stock market. When the traditional stock market has any kind of crash like this, it's never going to hit a 50% crash. That would be catastrophic. But even a 5% crash, people start going crazy and fear selling. But in the crypto space, it seems like there's a lot of joy and happiness when prices go down like this, because, which I know it sounds strange, but when prices dip, many of the people in the crypto space believe that crypto and Bitcoin and all the altcoins are essentially the future of finance. And so they know that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, things are going to be worth way more than they are today. So when prices go down, they consider it Christmas morning. And with things on sale, they go ahead and buy. So if you can pay attention to these dips, you can get much cheaper cryptocurrencies of whatever your favorite cryptocurrency is for a much cheaper deal. And if you could time this right, it's basically the easiest way to make some profits. Okay, so what caused this? Was it actually fear that the Bitcoin bull run is over? Nah, I don't think that's it. Because fear and driving this much market liquidity in such a short period of time, that happens when fear takes over a period of a couple of weeks, not in one day. Was it the fact that China just banned all of crypto within China? Yep, that's right. China just came out a couple of days ago and basically reiterated their stance and even added a few more things that they are banning in China. Not a shock. They basically ban anything fun and productive. So you can't buy or sell or hold cryptocurrency in China. In fact, you can't run an exchange or do business with anybody that does want to use cryptocurrency as a form of exchange or remittance. But the thing is, they've actually been saying this for a long time. Back in 2012, they basically said cryptocurrencies are okay. But in 2013, they said, nope, cryptocurrency is banned. So in 2013, they went ahead and banned cryptocurrencies and the use of cryptocurrencies. That really didn't stop anybody in China. In 2017, another bull run came along, and they banned even more stuff. They said they banned exchanges. No longer could anybody create an exchange in China. What that did was basically force all those companies, all the big exchanges, to go offshore. And of course, now that we're in the midst of another bull run, China once again banned Bitcoin and banned cryptocurrency. And in response, Hong Kong's Bitcoin Association responded by saying, if you're new to Bitcoin, it's customary for China to ban Bitcoin once every bull cycle. In other words, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So is this what actually pushed some of this liquidation, this fear that China is essentially shutting down all crypto? No, not really, because they've been doing it for the last 8 years. So what was this major drop? Well, unless you follow chart analysts on a daily basis, you probably don't really know this yet, but a vast majority of the downturn that happened on Wednesday was that leveraged accounts absolutely got whacked. And what do I mean by leveraged account? Well, people that are basically buying and trading based on margin accounts, which is a fancy way of saying they took a loan out to buy Bitcoin. Now, they may have taken this loan out from an exchange or from wherever they're holding their Bitcoin on, but they're basically trying to use other people's money to buy Bitcoin and make more profits, which they do when Bitcoin price goes up. But when Bitcoin price goes down, they get hammered. And so basically what happens is when Bitcoin price goes down a little bit, and down a little bit more, a lot of these margin accounts will get liquidated. In other words, the exchange where they bought the account without the person's permission, because they don't need it, will sell the person's Bitcoin for them and take the money back for themselves to pay off the loan. So what that does is it forces a sale of Bitcoin at market price. Now what that does is it typically takes the price that's lower. It's not going to be higher. And so what happens is it forces a lower price and then a lower price and then a lower price. And so it's a vicious cycle that in very short order can drop the price of really anything, a stock or a cryptocurrency, by getting a lot of these leverage traders whacked all at the same time. In fact, Bybit.com, some of their data showed that in less than a day, over 775,000 accounts, leveraged trading accounts, their Bitcoin got absolutely liquidated. And what happened with that was that Whale Alert came out and said, wow, a lot of these whales meaning somebody holding a lot of Bitcoin or investing a ton of money into this, the whales came in, and as that price got lower and lower and lower, the whales bought more and more and more. And you can bet that Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy just bought a ton more Bitcoin at this low price. It was basically like Black Friday Bitcoin sale all over again. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. XRP was only down about 35%. Now that's a lot, but compared to the rest of the altcoins and the rest of the crypto market that was down almost 50%, in fact, most of the coins were down 50, even 60%, XRP was only down 35%, meaning it held its own a little bit stronger than a lot of the altcoin market did. That's great news for XRP holders because you can begin to see a little bit of a decoupling from Bitcoin, because as Bitcoin drives the market, it's going to drive all the altcoins. But sometimes like this, we're starting to see some of the altcoins kind of decouple from Bitcoin, where they don't see the same 50% in gains when Bitcoin goes up, and they don't see the same 50% losses when Bitcoin goes down. But in my opinion, further decoupling is going to be needed, and it probably won't happen until about 4 or 5 years when the next bull run cycle actually goes through. But you're starting to see pieces of it now. The other thing that's going to drive the price of XRP is, of course, regulatory clarity. So now in this case of the SEC versus Ripple, Judge Netburn just came out yesterday and clarified her ruling on the use of MOUs, which is what the SEC was doing, to go overseas and send letters essentially to other countries' regulatory bodies asking about Ripple's clients. Now, a lot of the analysis that I've been reading is that that's kind of the SEC's way of bullying Ripple's clients into giving up some data or giving some documentation or trying to find some dirt on Ripple. The judge didn't necessarily see that way. Jeremy Hogan, who's an attorney who's been following this case, he basically said that he thinks that the judge missed on this one, but nonetheless, it's not necessarily a loss for Ripple, because here's the thing. She ruled that the SEC can continue to use MOUs in this case, but there needs to be transparency. So now the judge is ordering the SEC to show all of their MOUs and its contents. So all the ones that they sent out, all the responses that they got back from other countries, and any ones that they're planning on using in the future now have to be laid out in court where Ripple can see them. So this is going to be even more interesting because now there's transparency into this, into what other regulatory bodies may or may not be talking about or doing regarding Ripple. And of course, it's going to be interesting because pretty much every other country in the world that is involved in this has already declared XRP as not a security. The United States SEC is the only country in the world right now that has declared XRP essentially a security or a stock in Ripple, the company, which of course doesn't make any sense. So maybe if the SEC can get together and get some regulatory clarity on things. So in the comment section below, leave your comments. Is this ruling on the use of MOUs actually going to help Ripple because of all the extra transparency that we're going to have, that Ripple is going to have into this case? Are we going to see that the SEC was essentially just trying to bully or threaten some of Ripple's clients by trying to look up dirt, trying to get some information from other regulatory bodies in other countries? Or do you think this is a win for the SEC and that they have the upper hand and the advantage in this? Let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, there's new developments, so make sure you're subscribed to this channel as I'm covering this SEC versus Ripple case and other cryptocurrency news. I appreciate you watching this video all the way to the end. I'd appreciate it if you gave it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next video.